once again, these urban knuckleheads are trying to dictate life and every other place in the state. We weren't built for a one-size-fits-all government. That's not who we are. You want to drop a wall between LA and Bakersfield? Knock yourself out. But we don't have to abide by what somebody else is doing because you can't run your city right. And that's the crap that's going on all over the country. That's the divide. But listen, we've been in Southern California too. There are a ton of patriots there. Michael Bolton's running the 10th Amendment Center out of LA. So here's a secret, Newsom. We're everywhere. And I hope you've seen this. I want to drop this one point before I introduce the most beautiful lady on the planet. I want you to get this, guys. Please tell me this hasn't gone over your head. And I'm not trying to, well, whatever. These federal elections are important. Federal politics are important. There's no question about it. But not to the neglect of local and state. Look around. This tyranny has been implemented all over the country at the state and local level. If you learn anything from this, let's figure out if you are not protected locally and at your state, you are not protected. Yeah, let's secure the White House. Yeah, let's secure our Congress. But stop ignoring local and state government, because when we do, that's what we get. And listen, politicians, state, local, whatever, they dance to the tune of money. So why don't we turn it back around? You know, the Chamber of Commerce, I don't know who's out there, this may tick somebody off, but so many chambers of commerce around the country have been infiltrated by globalists and Marxists and anti-American subversives. Why don't we start Liberty Chambers of Commerce? How about the businesses in your community join together, make up your mind before all this nonsense rolls out again, because it's coming back again. Newsflash. Let's go ahead and make up our mind. You may have bullied us, you may have tricked us with fear. It didn't take us long for those of us to figure it out who didn't know it the first time. We figured it out. And we need to decide today, we will never shut down again. It's a whole heck of a lot easier just to stay open than try to reopen. So we need to decide today, folks, we will not shut down ever again. This is the last time. We are opening up, and we are opening up for good. And last thing, your nonsense, your labels, Democrat, Republican, left, right, black, white, Christian, non-Christian. Why don't you take a flying leap with your labels? Who we are Americans. Liberty is our birthright. We were born free. People died to secure that freedom. We fought a war to make sure every one of our citizens could enjoy that freedom. We didn't sign up to go back on the chopping block of the slave masters, a sales freaking counter. Excuse me, somebody needs a little fire in their belly. My family moved from Kentucky after the Civil War to Bakersfield, California. I am the descendant of an African slave. My grandfather, great-great-grandfather walked off the plantation, took the knowledge from the plantation, became successful farmers in Bakersfield. He didn't fight for the government dole. He didn't fight for some government handout. He stood for freedom. And I'm not going to soil the legacy of my great-great-grandfather by bowing when he wouldn't. I don't know what anybody listening is going to do, but as for me at my house, give me liberty or give me death. Let me say this and I'm done. This is not what we do. And it better not be what you do. This is who we are. If this is what you do, you'll fold, you'll quit, you'll go back to the shade.
Amen, brother.
Defending liberty cannot be what you do. It has to be who you are. Ladies and gentlemen, my fantastic, lovely wife, constitutional attorney, Patrick Henry in a skirt. You can find her at chrisannhall.com. There she is, Chris Ann Hall.
Hey you guys, I am so excited to be here today, and I want to give you just a tiny bit of instruction. I want to give you just a tiny bit of truth.
Can't see you.
And it actually begins with the California oath of office. Okay? Because, see, when we try to look at Donald Trump to fix all our problems, when we look at Attorney Barr to fix our problems, what that does is creates a lazy, powerless society. We are not subjects waiting for any higher power other than God to stand behind us. We don't need Donald Trump's permission. We don't need A.G. Barr's gavel. We need liberty-inspired people with a backbone and the courage to stand up and say, we will not comply. Now that makes the snowflakes uncomfortable, so let me just go ahead and set the stage here for you. I'm already called an anti-government extremist hate group. I'm already called all the names you can think about calling me, so it's not going to hurt my feelings. And I've taken down bigger than Gavin Newsom, so he doesn't scare me either. Besides, how dare he defy the Army of Liberty in California? 40 million. I want you to think about that. 40 million. There are 40 million people in California. How does one man rule over 40 million people? Only because you comply.
Yes.
Now I want to tell you, before they just say I'm a seditionist or teaching you some kind of anti-government rhetoric. You see, the real reality is we are supporting government by being here. It's Newsom that is anti-government. So I want to show you some things to give you some knowledge and some courage to know that you're right, because the leftist media is going to call you radical extremists. They're going to call you names. They're going to tell you you don't have the right to be here. They're going to tell you that you should just comply, that it's going to be all over in a few minutes anyway, so you should just go along. Well, I want to explain to you, if you give me just a few minutes, on why that is wrong and why you should never listen to it. Okay? Here is the oath of office for the state of California. By the way, the oath of office that he took. And I'll admit to you here, the oath of office that every single one of these officers standing on the lawn trying to keep you from your house took too. Are you ready? I do say your name. I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Are you ready? That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California, and I take this obligation freely, without mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter. That is the oath. He didn't take an oath to keep you safe. He didn't take an oath to keep you virus-free. They didn't take an oath to stick a needle in your arm. They didn't take an oath to lock down your house. They didn't take an oath to shut down your business. They took an oath that said the exact opposite. That oath says, I will defend your business to stay open, whatever the cost. I will defend your right to sit here and stand here in this Capitol at whatever cost. They took the oath to say, I will defend your right to peaceably assemble. Even the Supreme Court of the United States says those steps and that sidewalk are the traditional place where people are to bring their grievances to the government. Now let me read to you just a couple things, because this is the California Constitution, and you should have a pocket California Constitution.
That wouldn't fit in your pocket.
You need to have at least the first 4 articles of the California Constitution in your pocket. You need to know it, okay? I love this one. Are you ready? Section 1. Article 1. Now remember, he took an oath to support and defend the Constitution of the State of California without hesitation or mental reservation against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Article 1, Section 1. All people are by nature free and independent and have inalienable rights. You are born free. And you have to know that. Because if you do not know that, if you think your rights come from this Constitution, if you think that man in his ivory throne tower has the authority to give and take away your rights, then you must admit an essential certain truth. You must admit that you were born a slave. You must admit that you were born a slave, and it takes people like Newsom to hand out your rights. So are you free or are you a slave? Then he can't take those rights away. He cannot take away what you were born with because he never gave it to you in the first place. It says you are born free and independent. Do you know what independence relies on? Ownership of property. If you do not own and control your property, you are not independent. You are at best an indentured servant and at most a slave. And when Newsom comes on and says, I have to shut down your business, he didn't build it. You guys worked your lives for these businesses. You worked for generations to build a heritage for your family. He didn't build it, and he can't take it away.
Find the highest tree and string them up.
Listen, you have inalienable rights. Among these are enjoying and defending life, liberty, acquiring, possessing, and protecting property, and pursuing and obtaining safety, happiness, and privacy. That is your Constitution. He took an oath to support and defend your right, your ability to, I want you to hear this, to possess and protect your own property, your right to defend your life and your liberty, your right to pursue and obtain your own safety. He's not responsible for your safety. You're responsible for your safety. He's not responsible for your life. You're responsible for your life. He didn't build your government. He didn't build your property. You built that property. It is your possession. It is your right, and it is inalienable. Now, there are a bunch of things in here, but there's one more section that I want to read to you. Article 3, Section 3. The powers of state government are legislative, executive, and judicial. Persons charged with the exercise of one power may not exercise either of the others except as permitted by this Constitution. Article 4, Section 1. The legislative power of this state is vested in the California legislature. Article 5, Section 1. The supreme executive power of the state is vested in the governor. The governor shall see that the law is faithfully executed. The legislature is delegated the authority to make laws by the Constitution, not the governor. The governor, by the Constitution, is prohibited from making laws because it violates an essential principle of liberty called separation of powers. James Madison, 4th President of the United States. History calls him the father of the Constitution.
Yes.
Says that when the legislative and the executive powers rest in one person, liberty cannot survive.
Amen.
I want you to know that we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal
We know the thing.
and endowed by Gavin Newsom, endowed by your county commissioner, endowed by your Supreme Court, endowed by your Creator, with certain inalienable rights. Now listen, it says, among these rights, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And when you study with me the Constitution, you understand that pursuit of happiness is a direct relationship to that Section 1, Article 1, Section 1 in your Constitution, the ownership and control of your property. But then it goes on. This is probably one of the most important things. And that to secure your rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just power from the consent of the governed. Do you understand? The only reason that building exists, the only reason Gavin Newsom is justified in getting a paycheck is to secure your rights. So let's just review rather quickly. Number 1, the California Constitution says your rights are inalienable. You are born free and independent. Those rights, life, liberty, property, and the defense of those things belong to you, not to them. That the legislature makes the laws, not the governor. And he took an oath that said he will support and defend those things right there. Do you know what that means? He is violating the supreme law of California, and I will tell you right now, he is violating at least 7 sections of your state constitution. He made you a promise. He swore to you a promise that he would defend your rights through that constitution, and he is not defending them, he is denying them. He is failing.
But I thought he was above the law.
And he needs to go. We need to be the people that our founders wanted us to be. We have this spirit in us. We have this spirit in us. This spirit that said 244 years ago, no more kings. And now you have a governor that looks more like a monarch than a servant of the people, and we need to repeat again in California in 2020, no more kings. 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 Now look, they call us radical. They call us extreme. Do you know what is radical and extreme? One man exercising power over 40 million people. That is radical and that is extreme. Do you know what is radical and extreme? Setting aside 244 years of history and saying, I am going to be a governor that rules over the people. That is radical. Don't let them name call you. Don't let them shut you down. Don't let them make you scared. If we stand together, we cannot be defeated. Thomas Paine said, it's not in numbers that we gather our strength, but in unity. And we must together say, we will not comply. We will not comply anymore. I want you to understand, you don't have to comply. I hate this term, civil disobedience. I hate it. Number one, you're not being disobedient. He is. You are engaging in peaceful non-compliance to enforce the supreme law of California that he is breaking. We are the defenders of our rights. He is the violator of those, and he is the domestic threat to the lives and liberties of you and your children to come. So here's the question. What kind of America do you want to live in? What kind of America do your children want to live in? We have to work. We have to work to give them something better than what we had. It is our job. We are here. We've been doing what we've been doing for 10 years because we have a 14-year-old that deserves something better. We need teachers. We need daycare workers that tell the governor, you can shove that mask where it don't shine. I'm not putting it on my kids.
Expression on why we ought to be on the side of life, not death. Unfortunately, the Church of God in Christ had a convocation before the scientists, before the doctors, informed us of the ways of this subtle, sneaking virus. And unfortunately, out of that denominational body, they lost 15 bishops this house. Therefore, it is proper and very fitting that we would have a young brother who sees what makes sense. Brother Newsom, who is the elder, the angel of Emmanuel Church of God in Christ. He too has answered the call to give leadership to this movement. Elder Lord.
Good afternoon. I just want to say that I'm here because I have my G's prioritized. All right. I'm not waiting on the governor. I'm waiting on God. Hey. And when he gives me the okay, then I'll be ready to go back. Every pastor has to do what is right for his flock.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm not condemning none of the pastors.
Yes, sir.
But the church that I pastor, we was to celebrate 80 years in ministry in this town this year. And I'm not going to stop the momentum now or early so that I can just get back and worship. As it already been said, I'm having church 3 days a week.
Yes, sir.
And my congregation has grown.
Yes, sir.
And so for this, I'm grateful.
Yes, sir.
I want you to know that everything that's lawful don't make it expedient.
Yes, sir. Come on now. All right.
So we are here
Yes, sir.
to let everybody know
Yes, sir.
that we understand that the black community is last when it comes to resources and first when it comes to death concerning the coronavirus. We still feel it's an emergency. And I want you all, and I want the world to know, we will not relent until we get the justice that we deserve.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Yes, sir. Nationalistic nonsense has played the scapegoat, the blame game of people of Asian origin and background. So I thank God now that I can present to you Reverend Marty Peters, pastor of the Victory Baptist Church of Oakland, California, who will bring remarks.
I'm super excited to be here today to celebrate this day with the NAACP. I stand with our governor. I stand with the rest of these pastors and preachers. My church is located in 94603 zip code. And the last time I checked it out, there were over 300 confirmed cases, 3,000 confirmed cases in our zip code. East Oakland has been hit hard by this pandemic, and so therefore I stand in support of not opening our church doors at this time. It's not safe. I love it, and we will continue to have church with 9 or 10 people until it is safe, until our building could be CDC safe. It's just not Instagram and Facebook, so it's spreading much larger than our preach. I don't have 1,100 members. It's spreading as far. So we are still doing our work. We're still preaching. We're still teaching. We're still trying to help our community, and we will continue to do that until it is safe. Church people, it is not safe yet. Not safe yet. God is beyond a building. And we went to the church, and he didn't go to the church to preach. He had a leather strap in his hand, and they turned his church into a flea market. And he drove them out and said, "My house shall be called the house of prayer." If you're just bound by the four walls of your church, you ain't got too much of a church anyway. You got to get out from beyond your four walls and go out in the highways and the byways and compel men to come to Christ. Our doors at the Victory Church in East Oakland will remain closed until it is safe enough. When there are tanning salons opening up, country clubs opening up, golf courses opening up, when there is the White House opening back up for tours and things of that nature, then I'll think about
Hey, I'm not.
Welcome the President of the San Jose branch of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, Dr. Jethro Moore. Here he is.
It's time for a reset. Everything that was going on in this country, it's time for us to look at it and reset. Because too long have our community been mistreated, abused, and not given adequate resources it needs. 20,000 African Americans have died from this virus. It's time we put a name on it. When our ancestors were brought here from Africa, there was a percentage that they attempted to lose, and they never gave them a name. So today, as this virus kills us, they still don't give it a name. We need to call out all our brothers and sisters who have passed away from this thing. We need to remember them. Put them in the book. Hold them in the light. And understand that life will never be the same. Our communities that don't have internet, our kids that can't study or go to summer school that's online because they don't have the adequate resources. Every city that gets this money needs to be resetting their resources to cut internet on free access everywhere. We need health care in all of our communities. It's time for the reset.
And now we move to make sure that everybody knows that in this session, we are not joking. And we welcome Ms. Veronica Shepard. Where are you, Veronica? Dr. Goodman was a physician. He was a psychologist. Dr. Goodman went around the community.
Yes, sir.
As they did in the day.
Yes, sir.
With a black bag, making house calls.
Yes, sir.
That's how we love each other so much. And we thank God that Veronica comes to us as a part of education for our father works very closely with Dr. Carlton Benjamin Peter. Let us hear our sister.
Well, I'm honored and surprised. I didn't know I was going to be asked to say anything, but I stand on the shoulders of my ancestors. As you see, my man says blessed. And I am blessed to wake up and say, that all of these ministers have come out on this warm day to say enough is enough. And that we have a right to live. My father was the third black muni driver in San Francisco. My mother worked at the shipyard as a welder during World War II. I got a history here and a legacy of life. So I'm grateful to all of you who have come out to say, we shall overcome. Thank you.
And now we also present a young sister, Reverend Amy Rogers Jones. Citizens of youth, and we need to acknowledge the presence of youth today and what that we must do to engage them in this struggle of life.
Before, when we were slaves, we would go out into the woods, being told so that we may worship our God in spirit and in truth. So we stand today in that same spirit, knowing that our God is everywhere.
Amen.
Our God
Amen.
is in our feet and in our hands.
Yeah.
Our God is in our voice.
Yeah.
And so we will not listen to the foolishness that comes from a foolish man who does not know intelligence if it's happening on his shoulder. We stand in the spirit of truth and righteousness. And we know that God is calling us to protect those that God has placed in our lives. So we will not open our doors. We will continue to worship at home, worship in our kitchen.
Bye.
Ups and downs that you Justice in this land. And we're feeling the people are homeless because of what? Greed and selfishness.
Have mercy.
There's an injustice in the land. God is speaking loud to us, America. What happened to America? What happened to the one nation under God, indivisible, and liberty? It's time for our nation to wake up. It's time for us to pay attention. To our teachers, our police officers, our young students who are crying out. Our leaders in this country. It's time for us to say Donald Trump for that's it. No more Donald Trump. No more President Trump. We got to pray for him too. I pray for him every day. Pray for those who fight. I pray for them. I pray for them. Right now, I pray for all of us. And I thank God for this opportunity for Dr. Anthony Brown. Another agitator. And that's the time of it. It's time for us to agitate in the positive way. Agitate in love. Agitate in justice. Agitate. You can't be still and let injustice go up. You can't be still when a young black boy is running in the street for no reason. You can't be still when a white police officer tells you or other ladies, oh no, we're not going to shoot you, we'll shoot black people. We don't shoot white folks. I have that video. It broke my heart. It broke my heart. So now, the God that loves you, he said his love will never separate you. That's how much he loves you. You don't know that, I'm telling you. God gave you in his
Đó là thắt.
That is more abundant, a life that they can live, a quality of life that they can live in health. That's why we stand here today. We stand because we want to provide adequate resources for our children so that they can learn at the. There are a couple of things that we're going to do because it's not all about our words, but it's about our work. Come on now. Come on. So we have provided an opportunity for underserved youth to be able to log on into our virtual platforms with one-on-one tutoring so that they will not lack the education that they need. We know it's been far too long for our young people haven't been given the opportunity to thrive in the educational system. So we are putting our work to practice. We are going to ensure that our children have access to good resources so that they can be the best that they can be.
Amen. Thank you very much. Give it up for Dr. Jonathan Butler. And I hope that those who are listening will know that we are deserving of funds, of practical support from these corporations, including Salesforce, including Twitter, and including all who are tweeting out there, that they may be fair to the black community. Philanthropic community is given less than 3% of its gifts to this black community. And it's time that we get our fair share. And now, and we will go and carry the message. We ain't going back to the church. We ain't going back to the synagogue. We ain't going back to the meeting place. We ain't going back to no prayer room until God tells us. It's significant and it's of substance and it will be about life and not death. Go ahead, Reverend.
I'm going back to the
when these things come, we suffer greater. And what we're saying is, after this transition, we plan to go forward and not backward. It is our desire, our intent, and we are determined that it is time for our people to move forward, and those who don't want us to move forward need to move out of the way. Thank you very much.
Brother Thomas, young brother of True Hope Church of God in Christ, give final words and give closing prayer.
Amen. Praise God. I just want to say that I'm working closely with Dr. Willis Walker from True Hope Church of God in Christ. And we're working in the community with resources. We have mass coming in. We've been out on the fellowship and going around the 100 Point, West Point, Double Rock. We done been through Fillmore, passing mass out. Thank God for Mayor London Green. Amen. And we just thank all you guys for coming out. But I do want to say this. Psalm 91 says, what did you say, Brother Bill? Come here for a second. Read that for me. One scripture, we're going to close on 91. Very important. It's about the pestilence. Psalm 91. Read that for me.
Đã đọc.
God, under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress.
Yes, sir.
My God, in Him I will trust.
Yes, sir.
Surely He shall deliver you from the snare of the fowler,
Yes, sir.
and from the perilous pestilence.
Yes, sir.
He shall cover you with His feathers,
Yes, sir.
and under His wings you shall take refuge.
Yes, sir.
His truth shall be your shield and buckler.
Yes, sir.
You shall not be afraid of the terror by
Yes,
night,
sir. Yes, sir.
nor the arrow that flies by the day,
Yes, sir.
nor the pestilence that walks in darkness,
Yes,
nor
sir.
the destruction
Yes,
that
sir.
lays at waste at noonday.
Yes, sir.
1,000 may fall at your side, and 10,000 at your right hand.
Yes, sir.
But it shall not come near you.
Yes, sir.
Only with your eyes shall you look and see the reward of the wicked.
Yes, sir.
Because you have made the Lord, who is my refuge,
Yes, sir.
even the Most High, your dwelling place.
Yes, sir.
No evil shall befall you, nor any plague shall come near your dwelling.
Amen. Thank you. Closing prayer.
Amen. As we conclude, Captain Abler is here. He was referenced earlier, but I want to give added budgets and support to the back.
Yeah.
And he's one of the best captains we found anywhere. He leads with professionalism, with respect, with love, and with engagement in the community. And we thank him, and we thank all officers who are doing the right thing, keeping the peace, and making sure that everybody is somebody, and respected as being human. So, let us conclude with this prayer and acknowledge as a footnote that the temperature is supposed to go up to about 100. And certain thousands of minds are saying that this virus, has more of a struggle to infect when there is heat. And nature has smiled on us, and the sun is bright on this Memorial Day. Brightness and light brings life. And we thank God. Black community down with death. And we
Even the TV people that's here today, Channel 5, Channel 2, Channel 3, Channel 29, Lord. Bless every church, every clergy, every deacon, every usher, every minister, every lay person, every child, Lord. Bless this world and let us show love. In Jesus' name, we pray. Amen. Thank God. Everybody say thank God. Thank God.
Today isn't foreign. Our enemy is not crawling through the jungles of Vietnam, waiting to cut down a military chopper coming into a hot landing zone. They are not lying in wait like the Germans did for us, for our guys to get off the boats on D-Day and swim into the beaches of Normandy. Our enemy right now is right here on our own soil. It is here on our own soil in the form of mask wearing and social distancing for our children. It is here in the form of endless lockdowns that are breaking the back of the mothers and fathers and workers in this country that gave their all and pay our taxes to put people in that house. And if we are going to truly honor the veterans and the men who died defending our freedom, we need to be prepared to take the same oath they did and to live it and die it. And that is, you better be prepared to protect and defend liberty and your country and your freedom and your United States Constitution